So you want to be rich before you're 35? Same. Me too. Join the club. We have t-shirts. They're from Target because we're not rich yet. But here's the thing. Everyone's got advice on how to get rich. Invest in crypto. Start a side hustle. Wake up at 4 a.m. Stop buying avocado toast. And you know what? Some of that advice is actually not terrible. But most of it is presented by people in suits talking at you like you're an idiot, or by 19-year-old crypto bros who got lucky once and now think they're Warren Buffett. So today, I'm going to give you real advice on building wealth before 35. But I'm going to do it without being boring, preachy, or pretending I own a yacht. Because I don't own a yacht. I can barely afford to own a houseplant. But I am learning, and I'm going to share what actually works. Let's go. Okay, first thing first. We need to redefine what rich means. Because when most people say, I want to be rich, they're picturing private jets and champagne and yelling, I'm rich, while throwing money in the air. But real wealth? Real wealth is boring. It's not flashy. It's not Instagram worthy. Real wealth is waking up and realizing you don't have to check your bank account before buying groceries. It's not panicking when your car makes a weird sound. It's having options. Rich isn't about looking wealthy. It's about being secure. So if your goal is to drive a Lamborghini by 35, cool. But that's not wealth. That's a depreciating asset that screams, I make poor financial decisions, but I look good doing it. Real wealth is quiet. It's the guy driving a 10-year-old Honda who has $500,000 in investments. Now, does that mean you can't have nice things? No. Have nice things. But have them after you've built the foundation. Not before. Because here's the brutal truth. Most people who look rich are broke. And most people who are rich look completely normal. So step 1, redefine rich. Make it about freedom, not flex. Now let's talk about how to actually get there. This is the advice everyone gives and nobody follows because it sounds too simple. Pay yourself first. You've heard it a million times. And you've probably ignored it a million times because you're thinking, yeah, I'll save whatever's left at the end of the month. Spoiler alert, there's never anything left at the end of the month. Here's how it actually works. The second, and I mean the second, your paycheck hits your account, you move money to savings or investments. Not when you get around to it. Not after you pay bills. First, treat savings like a bill you have to pay. Because you do. You're paying your future self. But I don't have enough to save. Yes, you do. Even if it's $20. Even if it's $50. Start somewhere. Because here's the thing about compound interest. And I know, this sounds like a boring finance lecture. But stay with me. Compound interest is magic when you start early, and it's useless when you start late. If you invest $200 a month starting at 25, by the time you're 35, you'll have around $35,000, assuming 7% returns, which is average for the stock market. If you wait until you're 30 to start, you'll have about $17,000. Same monthly investment. Half the money, just because you waited 5 years. Time is literally money. And the younger you are, the more time you have. So pay yourself first. Automate it so you don't even have to think about it. Set it and forget it. And yeah, it's going to suck at first. You're going to feel broke. But here's the secret. You're going to feel broke either way. Might as well feel broke while building wealth instead of feel broke while building nothing. Let's talk about debt. Specifically, high-interest debt. Credit cards, payday loans, that buy now, pay later thing you did for a couch you didn't need. Debt is a vampire, and it's not the sexy Twilight kind. It's the slowly draining your life force while you're asleep kind. If you have credit card debt at 20% interest, you are literally paying someone else to be rich while you stay poor. Let me put it in perspective. If you have $5,000 in credit card debt at 20% APR and you only pay the minimum, you'll pay over $8,000 total. You're paying $3,000 just for the privilege of having that debt. That's insane. That's $3,000 that could have been invested. That could have been growing. That could have been your money. So here's the deal. If you have high-interest debt, that's priority number one. Before investing, before saving for a house, before anything, kill the vampire. Now, I'm not saying all debt is bad. Student loans at 3%, car loan at 4%, mortgage at 3.5%. Those are okay debts. They're low interest. You can manage them while still investing. But credit card debt at 18 to 25%, that's financial poison. Get rid of it ASAP. And I know it's not easy. I know it feels overwhelming. But here's a strategy that actually works. The debt snowball method. Pay off your smallest debt first. Doesn't matter if it has the highest interest. Pay off the smallest one. Why? Because winning feels good. And when you pay off that first debt, you get momentum. You get motivation. And that motivation carries you to the next one. It's not the most mathematically optimal method, but it's the most psychologically effective method. And personal finance is 80% psychology, 20% math. So kill your debt. Be ruthless. Your future self will thank you. Okay, real talk. How much money have you spent trying to impress people? New clothes for an event. Expensive drinks when you go out. A car that's just a little nicer than you can afford. A vacation you put on a credit card because everyone else was going. We've all done it. We're all guilty. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Nobody cares. Nobody is thinking about you as much as you think they are. Nobody's at home like, man, did you see what Sarah was wearing? Clearly not designer. Lost all respect for her. That doesn't happen. You know what people are thinking about? Themselves. Their own insecurities. Their own problems. You're spending money to impress people who literally forget about you the second you leave the room. And I'm not saying don't enjoy your money. I'm not saying live like a monk and never buy anything fun. I'm saying be intentional. Buy things because you want them, not because you think they'll make other people think you're successful. Because here's the irony. The more you try to look rich, the less money you have to actually be rich. Real wealthy people don't care what you think. They're too busy being wealthy. So stop performing wealth. Start building it. This is a big one that people get wrong. You can make $200,000 a year and be broke. You can make $50,000 a year and be wealthy. It's not about how much you make. It's about how much you keep. I know people making six figures who are living paycheck to paycheck because every time they get a raise, they upgrade their lifestyle. Bigger apartment, nicer car, more expensive restaurants. It's called lifestyle inflation, and it's a trap. You get a raise. You feel like you deserve to treat yourself. So you upgrade. And suddenly, your new lifestyle costs exactly as much as your new income. And you're back to broke, just with nicer stuff. Here's the move. When you get a raise, save or invest at least 50% of it. Live on your old salary or close to it, and bank the difference. That way, your wealth grows as fast as your income. Because wealth isn't about earning more. It's about the gap between what you earn and what you spend. A person making $60,000 and spending $40,000 is wealthier than a person making $150,000 and spending $150,000. So focus on widening that gap. Increase your income, sure, but don't let your spending race to catch up. Let's talk about investing, because this is where people get really weird. Everyone wants the hot stock, the crypto tip, the get-rich-quick opportunity. And yeah, some people get lucky with those. But for every person who made money on Dogecoin, there are 10 people who lost everything. You know what actually works? Boring stuff. Index funds, ETFs, diversified portfolios, consistently investing every month for 10 plus years. It's not sexy. It's not exciting. You can't brag about it at parties. But it works. Warren Buffett, literally one of the richest people on earth, recommends that regular people just invest in low-cost index funds and leave them alone. That's it. That's the secret. There's no secret. But people don't want to hear that because it's boring. They want the exciting story, the gamble, the thrill. And look, if you want to take 5 to 10% of your portfolio and gamble on individual stocks or crypto, go for it. Have fun, but don't bet your future on it. The bulk of your money should be in boring, reliable, diversified investments that grow slowly and steadily over time. Think of it like this. Boring investments are a slow cooker. You set it, forget it, and in 10 years you have a delicious meal. Exciting investments are like trying to cook with fireworks. Maybe it works. Probably you just blow up your kitchen. So embrace the boring. Get rich slowly. It's not as fun, but it's a hell of a lot more reliable. Okay, so we've talked about saving, investing, cutting debt, not spending on stupid stuff. But here's the reality. There's a limit to how much you can save. You can't save your way to wealth if you're barely making enough to live. At some point, you have to increase your income. But how you do it matters. Bad way. Work more hours at your current job for slightly more money while sacrificing your health and sanity. Better way. Develop skills that make you more valuable. Learn something that increases your earning potential. Coding, design, marketing, sales, project management, whatever is relevant to your field. Then use those skills to either negotiate a raise at your current job, switch to a higher-paying job, start a side business. And here's the thing about side hustles. Everyone's obsessed with them right now. Start a side hustle. Passive income. Be your own boss. And yeah, side hustles can be great, but they're also work. Don't fall for the passive income lie. Nothing is truly passive. So if you're going to start a side hustle, make sure it's either something you actually enjoy, so it doesn't feel like torture, something with real growth potential, not just trading hours for dollars. Because if you're working 40 hours at your main job and then 20 hours on a side hustle that pays $15 per hour, you're just burning yourself out for an extra $300 per week. That might be worth it short term, but long term, you're better off investing that time and learning skills that could get you a $20,000 raise. Work smarter, not just harder. Okay, this is the part everyone skips because it's really boring. But you need insurance. You need an emergency fund. You need to protect what you've built. Because life happens. Cars break down. People get sick. Jobs get lost. And if you don't have protection, one emergency can wipe out years of progress. Here's the minimum you need. Emergency fund. 3 to 6 months of expenses in a savings account. Boring. Safe. Accessible. This is for emergencies only. Not, I want a new TV emergencies. Real emergencies. Health insurance. I know, it's expensive. Get it anyway. One medical emergency without insurance can bankrupt you. Renters/homeowners insurance. Protects your stuff. Cheap and worth it. Life insurance. If you have dependents, term life insurance is cheap. Get it if people depend on your income. This stuff isn't fun. It doesn't feel like getting rich. But it's what keeps you from getting poor. Think of it as the foundation of a house. Nobody gets excited about foundations. But without it, the whole thing collapses. Real quick, stop comparing your financial journey to what you see on social media. That influencer with the perfect apartment and designer clothes? Probably in debt. Or they're rich because their parents are rich. Or they're faking it for content. Social media is a highlight reel of lies and strategic camera angles. You're comparing your real life to someone else's performance. And it's making you feel like you're behind. Like you're failing. Like you should be further along. Stop it. Your only competition is yourself from yesterday. Are you better with money today than you were last year? Then you're winning. Everyone's path is different. Some people start with advantages you don't have. Some people get lucky. Some people inherit money. Some people are in the right place at the right time. You can't control any of that. You can only control what you do with what you have. So focus on your progress, not theirs. Last thing, and this is important, money won't make you happy. It won't fix your relationships. It won't cure your depression. It won't make you a better person. But not having money, that makes everything harder. Financial stress affects your mental health, your physical health, your relationships, your sleep, your everything. So when I say get rich before 35, I'm not saying money is the answer to all your problems. I'm saying build enough financial security that money stops being one of your problems. Because once you have that security, once you have savings, investments, no debt, and options, you can focus on the things that actually matter. Your relationships, your passions, your health, your growth. Money gives you freedom, not happiness. Freedom. The freedom to say no to a job you hate. The freedom to take risks. The freedom to help people you care about. The freedom to not live in constant stress. That's what we're building toward. So here's the summary for getting rich before 35. Redefine what rich means. Freedom, not flex. Pay yourself first. Automate savings. Kill high-interest debt. Vampires must die. Stop impressing people who don't care. Wealth is what you keep. Not what you make. Invest in boring stuff that works. Increase income strategically. Protect your money, insurance, emergency fund. Stop comparing yourself to Instagram. Lies. Money equals freedom, not happiness. None of this is revolutionary. None of this is sexy. None of this will make you a millionaire by next Tuesday. But it works. And if you actually do these things consistently over time, you'll be in a wildly better financial position at 35 than 90% of people your age. Will you be private jet rich? Probably not. But you'll be, I don't stress about money rich, which is actually better. So start today, not tomorrow, not Monday. Today, your 35-year-old self is watching. Don't let them down. Thanks for watching. HeartSnack fam, drop a comment and tell me, which rule hit hardest? Which one are you going to actually implement? Let's build wealth together. The boring, reliable, actually works kind. See you in the next one. Stay snacky.